However, would turn attention to the Eastern region, where regional branch executive members of the New Patriotic Party have raised concerns about some constituencies and polling stations in the region whose total number of registered voters did not correspond to Electoral Commission's register for the exhibition. At a media briefing in Koforidua, the Eastern Regional Communications Director of the NPP, David Pra, said the party will use all legal means to ensure that prospective voters will not be denied the right to vote in the 2016 elections.
The New Patriotic Party press briefing was aimed at making the public and other stakeholders aware of critical issues that the party uncovered during the monitoring of the just-ended voter exhibition exercise. Briefing the media, the Eastern Regional Communications Director of the NPP, David Pra, urged the Electoral Commission to make available copies of the voters' register to political parties to scrutinize.
The template of the register being exhibited by the EC are kept as if they are not public documents. When we visited some polling stations, the registers were in the bags of the exhibition. Though we encourage them, we find it as unacceptable. In Abetifi constituency, Abetifi Anglican Primary Polling Station, 31 people cannot trace their names in the register. Very serious. Kubiase Polling Station, 15 people cannot trace their names. Domi, 5 people's names are missing. And we see that the phenomenon is across the 33 constituencies in the region. And we as a party will not sit down for such unpardonable errors to occur. We will not do that.
The regional organizer of the NPP, Kwame Appiah-Kodua, also observed that the low patronage of the exhibition exercise was due to inadequate public education by the Electoral Commission. Some of the exhibition officers also spoke to Joy News about the low turnout of voters at the exhibition centers.
And the provisional register, we have 43 registered. But as at now, we have only 158 people who have come to check their names. And I think the low patronage is due to the low publicity, because a lot of people are not even aware of the exercise.
We had only 150 people who have come to check their names. The problem is because the announcement, they didn't hear the announcement.
Haruna Yusuf Umpini's report from the Eastern region.
Poor infrastructure continues to impede teaching and learning at the University College of Education in Winneba, the Mampong campus specifically. Vice Chancellor Professor Akwesi Asabre Ameyaw says overstretched facilities and outmoded equipment needed to be improved in order for the university to meet modern tertiary education standards.
To clean the streets of Kumasi and neighboring cities on Saturday, he noted the subjects have disgraced him by continuing to make and live in such waste.
We apologize for the wrong video clip. We'll bring you that story in a bit, but we can look at some other education-related stories. Emeritus Professor at the University of Ghana, Legon, Professor Ivan Adai-Mensah, believes Africa needs more trained indigenous scholars to tell her story. He said it was inappropriate for expatriates to continue to serve as substantive researchers on heritage and histories in Africa, as they will continue to apply for ideas and analogy with which they are familiar with to explain African data and phenomenon.
Professor Ivan Adai-Mensah was speaking at the launch of a book authored by experts in the humanities titled Changing Perspectives on the Social Sciences in Ghana. He urged other colleges of the University of Ghana to undertake similar exercises, as it is the surest way to preserve our institutional memory.
Perhaps the provost of the College of Basic and Applied Sciences should seriously consider taking up the chemistry initiative and expanding it to cover the various schools, if not the entire college. Also, maybe the time has come for the Vice-Chancellor to consider a review of the history of the University of Ghana, written by Professor F.A. Abodeka from 1948 to the present, or put together another team to produce a second volume covering the period 1998 to the present.
The 15-chapter book, which was edited by Samuel J. Mensah, Joseph Achuayi, and Abner Odro, covers several disciplines within the social sciences. Professor Samuel J. Mensah explains the rationale behind the book.
I think our main objective of the book is to come out with a volume that will chronicle the evolution of the social sciences in Ghana in one volume. We noticed that there has been a number of works on the social sciences, but we need to put all these material together. But what is novel about this book is the fact that it looks at the theory, it looks at the methods, it looks at the substance in terms of research, and it also has policy implications.
Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Ines Daite, who authored the foreword for the book, challenged the younger generation to take a cue from the challenging phase of the social sciences and learn to adapt to the changing world.
Part of the question, as a result of the paucity of data, times have changed, the materials have changed, technology has changed many different things. So one thing that I hope you will learn from this book is how to adapt to changing times and how to, as a result of the adaptation, make your thoughts reflect new situations, how you put things in the right context, so you contextualize events. That's how the world is changing.
He also echoed Professor Diamens's call for other schools and colleges within the University of Ghana to learn from the initiative. He believes it is only through such publications that the University of Ghana can become a world-class university.
To our earlier story on poor infrastructure that continues to impede teaching and learning at the University College of Education, Winneba Mampong campus, Vice-Chancellor Professor Ekwesi Asabri Ameyao says overstretched facilities and outmoded equipment needed to be improved in order for the university to meet modern tertiary education standards.
Professor Asabri Ameyao was speaking at a matriculation ceremony to admit 791 students into the university. He observed the university's ICT laboratories, workshops and lecture halls need upgrading in the training of students to compete globally.
Other resources are also still overstretched. Our teacher requirements as a nation require massive increase in access. Obviously, cannot adequately help us train competent teachers that can comfortably face the challenges of the 21st century classroom. We need to improve the student-teacher ratio. We need quality modern equipment for our laboratories and workshops. Our ICT laboratories need refurbishment. We need to attract and retain well-trained and competent staff and to support our staff to remain relevant in our effort to be a world-class university. I make a passionate appeal to the government of Ghana and to all who desire quality in our schools to come to the aid of the university.
He advised the students to avoid acts that would leave indelible negative thoughts in their memory.
Please, with people who can make positive impacts on your life. Please, as young men and women, avoid acts that will leave indelible negative thoughts in your memory. Analytical minds and skills that will enable them to take full responsibility and control of their lives and be relevant to themselves and to society.
Archbishop of Action Chapel, Duncan Williams has been reacting to comments he made some time back on Ebola being demonic and entering the country by the end of October.
Know there are forces out there that really want to cripple this nation, not just the economy. I mean, if you look at this Ebola virus in Sierra Leone, Guinea, and a place like Liberia, this is evil, you know, that is killing an entire nation. And policies of IMF, World Bank, the World Health Organization can't do literally nothing about it to eradicate this thing. This is a demon. This is demonic. It's evil. And that is where prayer is relevant. Jesus said, lead us not into temptation, deliver us from evil. So evil is real. From a spiritual perspective, I believe that there are forces out there that really want to see people suffer, because evil is only relevant when people are suffering. Evil is only relevant when people are dying and people are destroyed. So as a spiritual leader, my responsibility is to engage some of these forces by divine authority. And in the name that is above every other name, the name of Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God. And there are negative forces out there. We call them anti-progress forces. And that's why spirituality in nation building is very important. You can't ignore that, because man is a spirit. We live in a body. We have a soul. And if we underestimate the spiritual aspect of nation building, we'll be in big trouble.
We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Well, now, earlier today, the Ministry of Communication has been addressing members of the press, clarifying government stance on the Tier 2 pension scheme. Joining us was there, and here's a playback.
The current strike action has caused considerable discomfort and avoidable consequences to Ghanaians. We have called you here to give you an update on what government has been doing to bring an end to the strike. Also of concern to government is the observation that in discussions that have gone on so far about this strike, an attempt has been made by sections of our society to distort the facts surrounding this matter with a view to misinforming Ghanaians. The motive for such conduct, however, is unclear at this stage. We will use this opportunity to correct these distortions and erase any doubts about the intentions of government and its commitment to have this matter adequately and sustainably addressed in a manner that assures pensioners of their retirement income security. In doing so, government is mindful of the fact that aspects of the distortions, such as who has the mandate to appoint a true and the illegality or otherwise of the strike, are before the respected judge sitting on the matter. I take this again. In doing so, government is mindful of the fact that aspects of the distortions, such as who has the mandate to appoint a trustee and the illegality or otherwise of the strike, are before the respected judge sitting on the matter. Government will endeavor, within the constraints of not touching on the matter in issue, to keep you informed, particularly as you keep seeking answers from government on what is being done to end the strike. As a result, please bear with government if we have not been speaking to and still do not speak to certain matters which are obvious. Notwithstanding earlier engagements between government and labor union leaders in the immediate aftermath of the declaration of the strike action, strenuous efforts have been made by government to ensure a speedy resolution of the impasse through dialogue and negotiations. Last week, Tuesday, 28 October 2014, and on Thursday, 30th October 2014, the dialogue and negotiations continued. At Thursday's meeting, following some discussions, the unions were requested by government to call off their strike. The unions present at the meeting indicated that they will respond to the request to have the strike called off at the next scheduled meeting tomorrow, Tuesday, 4th November 2014 after consultations with their members and other stakeholders. Contrary to this commitment, a few hours after the meeting, spokespersons of the unions were heard on various media platforms insisting that they will not call off the strike until all their demands are met. They also announced when the businessmen and women or the citizenry encounter an empty office in the public service as a result of this strike, we are not serving the business community and the citizenry well. Government is deeply concerned about the welfare of all Ghanaians. It is our noble and sacred responsibility to take steps to end this suffering. We have therefore explored another option available to us in this matter. The Attorney General, on behalf of government, secured an interlocutory injunction from the High Court last week, Friday, which compels the unions to call off the strike in order for their members to return to work and render services to the Ghanaian people. It is our expectation that workers will, in accordance with this order, as our laws stipulate, comply. It is regrettable that some union leaders speaking to the press after the court's order have sought to suggest that they will defy the court. Let us all as Ghanaians remain committed to respecting our judiciary and avoiding any conduct that risks plunging our country into a state of lawlessness and anarchy. Government wishes to stress that in exercising the right to go to court, it was guided solely by the supreme interest of all Ghanaians and the need to end the suffering we are going through as a result of this strike action. When we discuss the need for productivity to be enhanced, we must believe we mean just what we say. When we talk about expanding the pie so we can all share equitably in the form of salaries and wages, infrastructure and services, we must believe we mean exactly what we say. The goal of enhancing productivity is not being served well if we embark on strikes such as this one on Tier 2 pension scheme, even when not a single pensioner will be deprived of his or her benefit come January 2015. Government will continue to work very hard to put people first. As a Social Democratic Party, pensioners are our key constituents